and welcome to round number 2 of Sunday Night Lights. We are here from the Brands Hatch Indie Configuration Circuit in England. My name is Corey Steinhauser. I'm going to be your main commentator tonight, and tonight I'm also joined by the one, the only Timmy G, Tim Gorkrocker. Tim, awesome little track we got ourselves here, and a little bit of trickiness in the first couple of laps with the cold tyres.
Yeah, Corey, thanks for having me again, mate. Good to be back, and a pleasure to commentate alongside you. And of course, just want to say thanks to Alex for handing over the keys, and who really knows what's going to happen. But tonight, Brands Hatch Indy, brilliant little track, hard work, lots of excitement, really fast too. Tough to pass, but there's enough draft that it's really challenging to get away. So, mate, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tonight. Plenty of fast guys rocked up this week. Really nice soft again. And stacks of points on offer, of course.
As always, heaps of points on offer. We got a soft of a 41.83 here, which is a little bit down on the warm-up race, which saw a 4600 soft, but it's still right up there as far as tops soft for the week. It's a little bit of an interesting track here, lots of undulation changes, which can definitely throw the cars off. Right here on the screen at the moment, we actually have the Enzo Cantor car from Simartech. Oh no, Thrustmaster Nirvana, sorry. My apologies there. Good to see Enzo back on track and with us here for the top split races. Anyone you got your eye on here today, Timmy G?
Yeah, you're right, mate. It is good to have Enzo back, and personally, just curious to know whatever happened to Fahim Antoine Yades, who was Enzo's his teammate, a bit of a gun as well. But hopefully, we'll see him back out on track in the very near future. But tonight, mate, I think Julien O'Fray has got stacks of pace about him. He picked up the win in the 4600 soft, the prior race tonight. And I wouldn't say he's untouchable, but I think lately, Corey, he's shown he's got the goods to lead from the front and hold off those who are pushing for the win as well. So I think Julian's my tip, mate, and look forward to if he qualifies well, shouldn't be a drama. I reckon he'll get the big W tonight.
Well, at the moment, Julian has sat himself on top of the totem pole. He's just been overtaken though at the minute by Lucas Geritz. My apologies for completely butchering that name, but it looks like he's actually not on track at the moment. We do have Cristobal Alterio Romana on track, currently down in the 15th position. Very uncharacteristic for Cristobal there, Tim.
Yeah, Corey, I think Cristobal's a competitive driver in the low to mid-end soft races, but you get him in a 4 or 5k soft. Not to say he's nowhere, but he's a little bit further back in the pack, you know what I mean? So a good driver, good streamer, has a pretty big following too. And look, I hope he does well, but at the end of the day, Corey, I don't think he's really capable of mingling at the front of a soft like this.
Speaking of people who like to mingle at the front of the soft, we've got Anthony Cat on screen right now, currently positioned in the 7th place, the 5 car for tonight. He'll be looking for some good results here himself, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think he pulled up 4th in the previous race. So Anthony's a good driver, plenty of soft about him. Fast, competitive, generally pretty clean. But I guess the thing we're seeing at the moment is those internet issues, or not issues so to speak, but the net code that comes, with plenty of Aussie drivers here tonight. Us and the Pomps have a bit of a netcode issue, but no, Anthony's a good driver. He's very quick, and I expect him to be up the front too. Qualified reasonably so far, P7. I reckon that's around the mark for him. But good to see Ben Snell, Corey, P5. Matthew Thomas as well, obviously done his homework here. Only a couple of tenths off pole in P4. So good to see the Aussies up there, mate. I'm keen to see how they get on.
Yeah, exactly right. 2 Aussies up in the top 5. That is absolutely awesome to see. You can also see we got another one down in the 12th position, a name that I'm not too familiar with. Craig Byerly. Sorry for absolutely butchering that. A nice little yellow and white paint job here for him this evening, and he slotted himself into 12th position, so if he can hold on to that, that's going to be some SNL points for him there, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lucas, though, Corey, surprising to, I mean, that's a name I don't recognise. I don't know whether it's one you've seen about the traps, but car 13 is either not been on the service very long, or he's some sort of wizard who doesn't come out very often. But so he's looking pretty comfortable up in front, just shy of 2:10. So I dare say most competitors, Corey, have done their 2 laps and are back in the pits having a cigarette and a beer. But yeah, Lucas has got the pace, mate. I'm keen to see what he can bring to the game tonight. It's looking pretty good for him.
Well, as I think everyone here has done their qualifying laps as well, we are going to go and have a quick look at the qualifying results as soon as I pick the right buttons, because I'm new to the whole button picking thing. We're going to go check out the grid. We can see Lucas there going to be starting from pole, Julian Alfrey out of P2, Jose Sawyer is going to be starting out of 3rd, with Matthew Thomas starting out of 4th, the top runner in the Oz NZ. Ben Snell representing Team Milo out of P5, Simon Edwards from the UK and I, the front-running UK and I driver, in P6 is a 2-plated car. Anthony Catt is going to be starting out of 7th, Lee Anderson wrapping out a 3-peat there for the UK and I drivers in 8th. Then we're going to have the start of the Finnish invasion with Timi Vaskalampi starting out of 9th and Sammy J. Toikala starting out of P10. Then we're going to have our 1-plated car, Sasha Gourlay, starting out of 11th, with Craig from OzNZ starting out of 12th in the 17 car. As we go and look over the page now, we're going to have Enzo Cantor out of 13th. Paul Beatty, good result for him, starting out of 14th right now in the 19 car, just sneaking into the field. Cristobal Alterio Roman out of 15th, with Håkon Grebstad out of 16th. Victor Tamburino out of 17th, Kevin Henderson 18th, and John Scults coming out of P19. Strength of field a 41.83, air temp is 20 degrees, track temp 26. It should be an absolute cracker here when we get going. Who is your early money on right now, Timmy G? Tim, you there?
Yeah, mate, sorry, I was just having a nap while the car's grid, 50 seconds to go, obviously. But no, I think my money's on Julian still, mate. He's shown in the past few weeks he's certainly got what it takes. And for me, while Lucas has got really good quality pace, bit of an unknown quantity, haven't seen him out here in SNL before. And, you know, Corey, the SNL series is the most well-respected Skip Barber series in the world. And it wouldn't surprise me if the pressure of tonight, the high soft, so on and so forth, got to Lucas. And but we'll just see how that plays out, you know.
You know, we definitely will see how it plays out once we've got everyone on the grid. Still just waiting for a couple of competitors at the moment, and I'm hearing that John Scults has got mechanical issues and might have to start from the pit lane. So already an early blow for our Oz NZ contingent.
Yeah, unfortunate for Sculty. We know he is an absolute superstar of the game, and yeah, unfortunate for him. No points tonight, Corey.
But it looks like we do have everyone on the grid right now. As we're getting ready to go, red lights mean rev, green lights mean go, and we are underway here for round number 2 of the Sunday Night Lights Skip Barber Strength of Field race from Grand Pack Indy. I almost didn't take a breath there as we go streaming through turn number 1 up into turn number 2 already. We saw some drama here in the warm-up race. It looks like for the moment everyone getting through pretty cleanly, Team G.
Yeah, Ben Snell nice and sideways, tried to send it around the outside of turn 2, tried to make his move on Cat, couldn't make it happen though. Got sideways and Simon Edwards came very close to taking out the back of the Aussie Milo driver's Skip Barber. Fortunately not the case. There's a spinner at the back of the field though, Corey. Unfortunate for Craig Byerly, we mentioned him earlier. He's spun around, no damage, perhaps a bit of neck code, but he's going to have a long race ahead of him.
We're just going to go and have a quick little look back here at what might have happened to him. It looks like, yeah, he's just gotten on the cold tyres as they're coming out of the little infield section there and just gone around.
Oh, Corey, crash at the back as well.
Crash at the back. Oh,
Ben Snell comes together with Lee Anderson at turn 1. Lee's back in the pits. He's towed. Things didn't quite go to plan. I reckon they went 3 wide through turn 1. It's too early to do that, Corey. Sasha Gourlay, Ben Snell, and Lee Anderson coming together. Lee, the meat in the sandwich, didn't enjoy it at all. Ben Snell, I got to say that one's on him. I think perhaps not aware that Sasha was up the inside. Really unfortunate stuff. Ben getting away without too much damage. Lee, though, it's all over. And he's back in the pits for an early shower.
That is definitely some terrible action there. Unfortunately, yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. That looked like Ben Snell's incident for sure. But back up at the top of the field now. I'm pretty sure we've got Julian up front. We've got Lee Anderson going around as well. I think that was all. Anthony Catt, sorry. Anthony Catt just got a little bit of a shove going into the first corner. Action aplenty here at Brands Hatch already, Tim.
Yeah, and interestingly, Lucas Jarrett, who or what did he hit? He was leading. He got caught up with Matt Thomas. Matt Thomas spun from 3rd position. He was on for a massive haul of points. Extremely unlucky. Looks like he got a bit sideways on the entry to 1. Picked up a whole heap of curb. Ripped the front end off Lucas's car. Matt Thomas is out of the race. He's hit the showers too. But Lucas Jarrett, we spoke of him, the pressure of SNL, I mentioned it, Corey, it's not fictional. The pressure of SNL has gotten to Lucas Jarrett. It's nothing to do with Sam Thomas spinning. Really unfortunate for him. He's back in, what is it now? Must be 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, possibly 10th place. And his night is over. No chance of the win now.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate to see. We've already got 3 DNFs out of this race and 1 DNS with John Stolstead now in 19th. But at the moment, that has left Julian Alfrey and Jose Sawyer with an absolutely massive lead right now. These guys are just out in the front, just minding their own business. They've got about 3 seconds back to Simon Edwards, who is leading an absolute train of cars right now, Tim.
Yeah, it'd be good to focus on that battle, Corey. What is there? 5, 6 cars? 6 cars, in fact. Simon at the front. Timu Vascalampi at the back and a number of good drivers. Sammy Toykala, Sasha Gourlay in the middle. Surprising to see Sasha that far back. We know how quick he's been in the past, but perhaps he didn't qualify quite as well as what we might expect down in P11. That's really out of character. But perhaps the SNL pressure's gotten to Sasha as well. But yeah, group of 6 led by Simon Edwards. Simon's got particularly good pace, Corey, a very strong driver from the UK club. I really doubt, though, Corey, that he's got the pace to bring these guys back into contention with the lead pair, which is Julian and Jose. So we'll see what comes of that, though. 24 laps here tonight. I don't think we mentioned. Plenty of time still, about 51, 52 seconds per lap. So yeah, short race here, but plenty happening as the front 8 cars are separated into 2 groups now.
Yeah, exactly right there, Tim. And well, I'm not sure whether these guys will have the legs to be able to catch up to the rest of the field either. But that's just going to be one of those things that we'll just have to wait and see. We had a little bit of contact there between Gourlay and Catt. It looks like they've both been able to drive away from it right now. And my apologies if people are struggling to hear me down in the what's going on. I am trying to actively fix it as we're going along here, but hopefully very shortly we can get it going right. And
Don't stress too much, Corey. You do sound as good as you normally do.
I think I've got it sorted now.
And if Russell Clark isn't happy in chat, that's just too bad. So let's not stress too much about him.
Right, but anyway, continuing on with the race now, it looks like Simon is starting to build a little bit of a gap here over Sasha, with Sasha and Anthony Cat there getting caught in that little bit of a battle on the previous lap. And it looks like they're also starting to close up to him a little bit here, but they're still struggling to try and bridge this gap to the leading two drivers there, Tim.
Yeah, it's just not really happening, is it? Last time round, Julian 51.9, Jose 52.0. Simon Edwards only matching him at best at 51.9 pace as well. So a lot of work to do, and you've really got to find some magic pace, you know. And it's just at a track like this where, you know, obviously you can draft to keep up, but can't draft to get an advantage in terms of lap time. So yeah, I don't really think that there's going to be too much activity unless Jose gets racy with Julian and Lucchese. I mean, he's a young fella. He's only 16, 17, something like that. But he's a smart cookie. And I don't expect to see anything silly from him, as these two will probably see it out to lap 22, 23 of the 24 laps before they, before Jose says, hey, it's time to race. Let's go for it.
Yeah, well, these two are two of the more intelligent thinkers as far as our Skippy field goes. They're always there or thereabouts, and they're always making somewhat smart moves. And sometimes they do make little bits of silly moves here and there, but we'll leave that one as a here or there statement. But we do know that these two definitely have the skill to not only drive away from the rest of the field, but maintain a nice little battle when they need to. But at the moment it looks like these two are just, you know, nice and steady. You know, they're not pushing the cars too much. Julian is going a little bit defensive into the hairpin there of turn 2, but I think that's more just to make sure that Jose knows that, you know, we got this, you don't need to pass me, I'm still going to block you off just in case, but we don't need to stress right now. As we look back again at Simon Edwards in the 3rd position, and it looks like these guys are starting to get very strung out here now, Tim. Little bits of gaps forming all throughout this second battle pack.
Yeah, they are. Interestingly, Lucas, who's back in 7th position, just holding up Timu at the moment. Timu's got a clean car, no damage front or rear. Lucas, though, bit of front end damage. It's certainly going to be costing him as Timu looks to the inside. Lucas says, hey, it's probably time that we got back on track. As he lets Timu down the inside, Lucas running very wide on the grass, almost loses it, gets it chucked in, misses the apex by a country mile, doesn't cost him too much time though, as Timu Vascalampi makes his move up into P7. Looks like Håkon Grebstad though, just behind, having a bit of a lonely race. He's got good pace here, Corey, but out in no man's land at the moment as he works hard to bridge the gap to Lucas and to Timu and catch back onto these guys.
And it looks like we might actually have a little bit of an issue here with Kevin Henderson. He just started showing up as in the pits. Oh, it looks like he's lost it in turn 1 and has just slid into one of the tire barriers there. That is unfortunate for him, but it also provides us with a chance to go back and have a look at our leaders. Lots of sand covering that exit curb in turn 1, Tim. Do you think that'll be affecting these drivers at all as they're coming across it?
Nah, not really, Corey. A handful of cars will dip a wheel in the sand on the exit. It doesn't really throw you too sideways. The thing you have to be careful of in the skippies at a place like Brands Hatch, with turn 1 being elevated and you run down the hill, I guess through a dipper of sorts into turn 2, the risk if you run a high SPO 4 or 5 is that you rip the front end off the car, rip the front wing off, because the car bottoms out on the ripple strips. But yeah, no, the sand on the track, a little bit of dust and whatnot, doesn't really cause too many issues. Doesn't upset the car at all, and I wouldn't have thought these guys are struggling with it at all. Generally, though, you might see a bit of dirt come up from the cars that run the right-hand side of the car, the front right wheel over the apex at turn 1. Generally, that's going to push you a little bit wider as well. You know, if you get a good clean run through there, maintain your pace, send it in at an appropriate speed, you're not going to hit the apex at turn 1, and you're also not going to run out past the ripple strip onto the sand at the run up to turn 2, Corey.
And I'm also hearing here, Timmy G, from one of our silent pit reporters that Timu Vascalampi is out with a mechanical issue. The game went kaput.
Not good, unfortunate for Timu, and his run of bad luck continues. A very, very strong representative for the Finnish contingent. But unfortunate for him, he'll be back next week, no doubt, with his good mate Sammy J. Toikala.
And speaking of Sammy J, let's go and check in on how he's doing. It looks like he's in a little bit of no man's land here as well, back in the 6th position. Got quite a bit of a gap to the car in front and quite a bit of a gap to Lucas just behind him. Now we know Sammy J, Tim. We know that he's a quick driver, but does he really stand a chance when he's just in this little bit of no man's land?
Corey, I don't think he does, truthfully. He's running the Hello Kitty livery, and that's certainly got to be costing him 3, 4, maybe 5 tenths a lap. And I think that, Corey, is the reason he's out in no man's land and not further up the grid. You know, Sammy, a winner of the SNL series before, I think a winner of the Skip Barber series in the whole iRacing previously too. We know how fast he is, but seems to be a bit lost at the start of this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I guess if he wanted to go fast, he should have put on his Milo livery, but it looks like he might have forgotten it at home, still in his PJs, so to speak. But we are going to go back and look at this battle going on in front of him, which looks like it's starting to intensify a little bit here, Sammy J. And we're talking about the battle between Simon Edwards, Sasha Gourlay, and Anthony Catt. These guys starting to look like they're getting a little bit racy here with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Interestingly, though, last time round, O'Fray 52.2. Must have been a little error somewhere. I didn't catch it, Corey. Not sure whether you did. But Simon and his crew of 2, Sasha and Anthony, pulled in a full second on Jose and Julian. So, mate, it's almost game on. What have we got? 10 laps to go. A gap of about 1.8 seconds, something like that. And Simon Edwards, I mean, I wrote him off. I said he wasn't capable of doing it. But really happy to be proven wrong, as he shows tremendous pace at the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. Look, it is in the UK, mate. Perhaps is a local. Maybe there's some local knowledge I'm not aware of that Simon Edwards is bringing tonight.
Well, if anyone would want to win this race just for the sheer bragging rights of it, I reckon Simon Edwards would definitely be that man. But in saying that, there's the car just 2 behind him and Anthony Catt, who is also a local UK and Ireland driver. He'd be wanting this win just as badly. And it looks like he's still got to get around Sasha Gourlay to at least have bragging rights as far as the UK and I drivers are concerned. But these guys looking like they're starting to get themselves a little bit sorted out here with whatever mistake was made by Julian and Jose. So hopefully maybe these guys can use these last, was it about 8 laps left in this to catch up and maybe make a real race of this, Tim.
Yeah, look, it's going to take something pretty special, Corey. Some amazing laps from Simon, Sasha, and Anthony to catch these guys. What is it? 2.28 seconds across the line. Last time round, Julian a 51.55, Simon a 51.57. Nothing in it between these two packs. I'm sure Simon wishes he was that little bit closer, even just getting a sniff at draft range. But he's got to find a second somewhere in the next handful of laps to really bridge that gap. I just don't see it happening. Julian and Jose looking in control. The gap somewhat comfortable, 2 seconds or thereabouts. And last time round, within 0.02 of a second, Corey, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately.
Well, we can't say never just yet, because we were proven wrong once. We thought that these two were in a very comfortable lead, and then bam, they lost a second. I mean, if they lose another second here, Tim, they're going to be having Simon in their draft range.
This is true. Could be game on. It would take something. Interestingly, Julian going defensive. It's early days, lap 18. Probably not quite necessary yet. Oh, interestingly, Sasha sends it up the inside of Simon Edwards. Simon left the door well and truly open, as Sasha had a great run out of turn 1. Simon, we spoke about the sand earlier, Corey. Simon got a bit wide, missed the apex by at least half a car width. the left-hand side of that, Skip Barber into the sand. And that was all the invitation Sasha needed, as he is manning the bottom spot of the podium, P3 at the moment, and hopefully can drive that group forward to catch Julian and Jose.
Well, see, this is what I thought would be the problem here, Tim. With so much sand being thrown onto that exit curb, it's going to get harder and harder to see where that curb actually ends and the sand trap there starts. And the more that these guys run into the sand, even though their tyres are getting warmer and their tyres are getting more grip, it's looking like the exit curb there is going to get harder and harder to see. But as more people don't run off wide, that sand's going to get cleaned up and they're going to be able to see it again. But even then, it will still just take that one little, few millimeters too far left, and you're gone in the weeds, as we saw earlier with Kevin Henderson.
Yeah, unfortunate for Kevin too, off to the showers as well. And there's a number of them tonight, Timu, Kevin and John Scholz. Sad for John. You know, he's such a nice guy, good driver. He is South African. We won't hold that against him. Really pleased to have him representing the Australian contingent. But John will be back next week like he always is. And Simon Edwards chucks it up the inside of Sasha. If these guys are arguing together, there's no hope of them catching the lead pack. Side by side they go through turn 2, running down the hill into 3 and into 4. Simon says, I'm going to take you around the outside, as he does. Gets a very nice run, opens the door for Anthony. What's he going to do? Is he going to look left through the sweeping left-hander? No, he's not. A smart move, you know, that ends in tears, and I don't think, Corey, I've watched a lot of races this week, and I don't think I've seen anyone get Sendy through that sweeping left-hander. Well, but Simon Edwards back into P3. He says, no, I'm the man for the job. I'm going to take us back up front. Well, but realistically, mate, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I've been a part of a few races where people have sent it, but that's due to me being in the lower splits, and people have more balls and brain cells, so to speak. My apologies for that one, Alex, if you're watching at home.
I think Alex is, he'd understand the comment about balls or ball. So it's yours truly who takes offense, mate, not Alex. Anyway, back up front, it's on between Jose and Julian. Jose thinks it is time to go. Lap 21, only a few to go. Julian defending through a number of turns this lap. And is this what the group behind needed for their last crack at P1 and 2?
All right, this is the point of the race where I got to ask you bluntly, Tim. Who are you putting your money on as we see Jose going for the big dive into turn 1 and running a little bit wide on exit, inviting Julian back up to the inside for the second corner? Who is your money on to win this race?
I really like Jose. You know, he's a key player in the Top Split Discord channel. What a great community Alex has set up, just BTW. But I think Julian's going to have the wood. You know, he took my money early, Julian. I thought he was qualied well, has driven well lately. But Jose is a good young up-and-comer. And if anyone's prepared to stick it up the inside, it's certainly him. So we'll see what comes of it. Lap 22 is about to end, though, Corey. And as there's 2 to go this time by.
That's exactly right, mate. 2 to go, and all the money is on the table right now. And I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to go for the 3-plated Julian Alfre to win this one. I just believe Julian has the experience to be able to hold off Jose, as we saw just there in the first corner. Jose was looking for a run there on the outside. Julian just cut across his nose ever so slightly just to stunt that run a little bit. But the more these guys are battling, Tim, it looks like Simon and co are starting to catch up. Only 1.749 seconds is the gap between these guys when they came across the line last time.
Yeah, last time by a 51.7 for the leaders, a 51.3 for Simon and Sasha. And that's the kind of advantage they're going to need over the coming couple of laps. Of course, this one, Corey, is the final. Lap 24. This is the last time they're coming by. What has young Jose got in store for Julian? He looks up the inside, side by side. Wouldn't want to drift out too far. There'll be contact for sure. He's in the right place to get it done, though. He's going to stick his nose right up the inside. Julian's going to sand it right around the outside. Side by side they go. giving each other plenty of room. Lots of respect out there. Nice bit of drive by Julian, though. He had a great run out of the corner. Jose, though, looking up the inside, I mentioned earlier of what stacks of races. No one's gone side by side through this sweeping left-hander till now. Jose getting it done. Julian, though, he's still there. Who's going to take it, Corey? My money was on Julian. Yours on Jose.
No, the money was the other way around. My money was on Alfred. Yours is on Jose. They're coming up to the line. It's going to be really close here. And it looks like Alfred has gotten it over Jose. Absolutely nothing in it. 0.009 of a second. Timmy G. What an absolute amazing finish. Simon Edwards in third there. Sasha Gourlay fourth. And Anthony Cat finishing in P5.
Yeah, that's the kind of finish we like to a race, mate. And interestingly, we spoke about it a lot. And that was the bridging of the gap from third, fourth, and fifth up to the leading pair. And they got to within 1.2 seconds, which, if we only had a couple more laps, Corey, it would have been on for young and old, and there would have been 4 or 5, maybe 6 battling for the win. But a brilliant final lap. What we expect out of the Sunday Night Lights series. Just fantastic stuff. And congratulations to the podium.
Alrighty, now let's have a quick little look at the results here. Got Julian Alfred taking the win by 0.009 of a second over Jose Sawyer. Simon Edwards representing UK and I at the home race, finishing in P3, taking bragging rights over Anthony Cat, who finished in 5th. Sasha Gourlay, the one-plated car, finishing a very respectable 4th place, up 7 positions from where he started. Sammy J. Toykala leading the finish invasion, finishing at his car number, P6. Håkon Grebstad, amazing race by him tonight, Timmy G, up 9 positions.
Yeah, very nice result for Håkon. He was a bit vocal in the last one after getting taken out. Cost him a stack of points. But he would have gained some IR back, so hopefully a reasonable end to the week for Håkon. But Lucas Jarrett's, Corey, we spoke of him early. He had brilliant, outstanding pace in quali. Couldn't make it happen, though. Really, really disappointing for him. But it's early days, mate. Hopefully we'll see him back for a few more events and to capitalise on the good qualifying that he showed us tonight.
Hopefully, indeed, as we continue on through our results now. Cristobal Alterio Roman finishing in 9th position here. And then we got the first of our Aussies, Ben Snell, finishing up in P10, earning himself a couple of Sunday Night Lights points there, but down 5 positions from where he started. Craig Byerly, again, apologies for absolutely butchering that name, finishing in 11th as a 17th plated car. So some nice I rating up for grabs there for Craig. Matthew Thomas finishing in 12th and wrapping out the points there for the race here tonight. As we go over the page, we can see Enzo Cantor finishing in 13th as the 8-plated car. Not a terribly good race there for Enzo. Hopefully we can have a chat to him about it and see what he has to say about how the race went for him. Lee Anderson from the UK and I down in 14th. Terrible race for Lee. Also, Victor Tamburino up 2 positions into 15th after starting 17th, but still down there in the order. Paul Beatty finishing 16th, the last of our finishers here tonight. Continuing on, we got Timu Vascalampi and Kevin Henderson, who did not finishers, and unfortunately John Scults there as our one and only DNS, strength of field 41.83. Fastest lap was actually by Håkon Grebstad there, 51.236. Nothing to sneeze at there at all, Timmy G.
Yeah, some quick laps pumped out tonight, Corey. We spoke all night about how good the field was. But 51.2 is plenty fast. Bit of draft in there, though. I would have thought 51.3, a high 51.3, 51.4 is probably a pretty good region. And if you can get there unassisted, then you're going really nicely. So Håkon, some consolidation for he did really well, obviously coming in seventh, but fastest lap. I mean, that's certainly something that I like to hold close to. That, for me, that's high on the mantelpiece. Fastest lap is that's what the real winners are after. So good on you, Hawkon. Hopefully, actually, I think there's a chance we'll catch him for an interview lately. I know he likes to chat, so perhaps we could find out what he has to say.
Well, we will indeed, because as per tradition, we are going to go through our order of cars as they finish. So, kicking things off here tonight, we are going to grab Håkon, and here we go. 7th place tonight for Håkon Grebstad. Håkon,
Oh man,
not a bad race for you tonight, but not a terribly good one either. Fastest lap of the race, so that's something to hold yourself high with.
for sure. Yeah, I think qualifying right now is just not where it should be. At least not for me. I just can't find the pace, and I messed it up this time around anyway.
Talk us through quali, Hawkon. Like, I personally find, it's just a little bit of work at the wheel, just at the first half of the lap, just to get a bit of temp up, and then, you can really go hammer and tong. But the thing that I probably find is, I think we run pretty similar equipment, is I got to find myself braking a couple of meters early on lap one and then opening the wheel on the exit of the corner just that little bit earlier, because otherwise I find the rear end wants to come out.
Oh,
Is
for
that
sure.
is that kind of similar to what you're experiencing? The car's a bit tail happy?
Very, very. The only way to avoid it, like here, I was planning on doing 2 warm-up laps and then 1 flyer, but that didn't work out when I spun and hit the wall and nullified one of my laps.
Frustrating, mate. You really need every opportunity, particularly if the second lap is the one where you get the off track. And here it's actually pretty easy to do, particularly later in the lap. You've got the sweeping left-hander where you're trying to straighten up for the final corner. And I certainly know that on cooler tyres, when the grip isn't there, that it's easy to run a little bit wide and cut the corner of the right-hander, and it's easy to pick up an off-track. So this place certainly has its challenges, and obviously you showed what you were capable of in the race, just a little bit unfortunate through quali.
Yeah, I think I showed that I would have had pace to run up front. I just wasn't there.
Unfortunate, mate. I'm sure you'll be back next week, though, for another crack at
I'll
it.
try, of course.
So you're looking forward to the race next week, Håkon. I hear that it is the Roval configuration of New Hampshire.
Yeah, I wasn't looking too much forward to that one, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, mate. Well, positives. You made a crap load of positions tonight and got yourself the fastest lap. So there's some things that you can focus on as you move forward into the next week.
For sure.
All right, mate. Well, while we got you up here, anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I got to thank Paul Beatty for not hitting me when I spun on lap 1. And obviously you guys and Tim for stepping in for Beardface.
All right.
I think it's the other way around, mate. I think Corey stepped in for Beardface, and I was only too happy to get in the box with the young Steinhauser again. So it's hopefully it's been an exciting call. Certainly the racing was on point. Not sure about our skills though, Corey, but we'll see what they think when the racers watch it back.
I'm still learning all this new software that I had to use for this. So anyway, thank you very much, Håkon, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Take care.
Alrighty, moving right on now, Timmy G. We're going to go on to have a chat to our 10th place getter tonight, the one, the only, the Mr. Team Milo at the moment, Ben Snell. Benny boy, 10th position here for you tonight. Not a terribly good result, but could have been a lot worse.
I hope I made this very entertaining for you at the start of the race, because I had a terrible time.
Well, if I recall correctly, I thought you sent it around the outside on turn 2.
I
got nice and sideways, almost got taken out, and
I out-qualified where I should have been because I did 2 warm-up laps, and I managed to not crash the car on the warm-up lap somehow compared to half the field. So I definitely shouldn't have been that far up, and it showed because I couldn't keep the car under me at the start of the race. I think I killed like 4 people, so sorry to those guys. But my car had like this little bubble around it, and I didn't cop any damage every time someone smashed into me. So I think I hit like 5 people, or 5 people hit me, and I drove to the end. So 10th is good.
Well, mate, at
Yep.
least you finished, and that's better than what a couple of guys got, and it's better than John Skoltz, who unfortunately couldn't even get a start. So, even though you lost a few positions here in the race, positives are you finished, as we can see you on the replay here sliding through the final corner.
Oh no, is it sliding or spinning?
It's
There's
sliding
one
at the
of each.
moment. It's not quite spinning yet. This is still lap 1, I do believe.
I think it's lap 2 that I killed everybody.
So let's talk about the recovery drive then. You killed everyone. Let's be blunt about it.
Yep, sure did.
And you found yourself buried. What was it like to fight back up to 10th?
I think the only person I caught with pace was Matt Thomas because he didn't have a nose. Other than that, it was just waiting for freebies, and I think Hendo had a whoopsie, and Timu had a internet whoopsie, and then that was basically it. So I got a couple of freebies and just putted around waiting for the race to finish.
Job well done, Ben. Hey, tell me, what's this new drift car you've bought? I'm watching the chat, the Twitch chat, mate. They're going wild for this. What's this, Safiro?
Yes, it is a Safiro.
Which is a?
It's a Nissan. So it's a old school Nissan Ford, or old school. It's from the late 80s, and it's got a 300 kilowatt, so like 20 odd horsepower motor in it.
So that's similar sort of grunt to the Skip Barber then?
Yeah, about it's not quite up where the Skip Barber is, but it's getting there. It's getting close, and I think in a couple of seasons' time they're going to nerf the Skippy down to about that 300 kilowatt mark.
Nice. Well, hopefully, when that occurs, obviously now you find the Skip Barber outrageously powerful, far too powerful for you, and
I can't keep
clear.
it under me. Yeah, just obviously
That is
it was all
very
over the place.
clear. Yeah, it's a handful in the hands of Ben Snell. I mean, if you were a half decent driver, maybe just maybe you'd be able to kind of keep it straight. Clearly not though. So hopefully in a couple of years' time, when they tone the Skip Barber down to Nissan Safira levels, that you'll be able to mingle at the front.
It'll be good. I'll be happy there. I'll have my walking frame next to the seat, and I'll be ready to go.
All right.
Times,
Well, let's
mate.
go
Good
back
times.
to talking about Twitch. We know that you're a Twitch streamer yourself, Ben. So where can the people find you while you're live?
You guys can come see my I can't even talk. It's been a terrible night, but you can come watch me at twitch.tv/Snellovision. It's like my name. It's like Snell and then Ovision, so like a TV. So SNELLOVIA. Oh God, I'm done.
You can't even English.
Snellovision. I can't even spell my own bloody name.
All right.
We're gonna post a link in the Twitch chat. How's that sound?
Yeah, do that one.
And you failing in English just now is perfectly timed with you dying in the race. Well done, Ben. You managed to keep us entertained until your actual crash. While we got you here and you're crashing in the screen, anyone you'd like to thank?
Of course, massive shout out to you guys. Usually I'm thanking Alex for putting on the broadcast, but thank you to you two for stepping in. I'm not too sure why Alex is away, but it's great to have the Corey and Tim cast back. I'm really looking forward to going and watching how this goes, especially with the correct overlays this time.
Yes, that was a hot topic after the last time we took over the broadcast, but I wasn't ready to tackle the monumental task that is AVTO back then.
One thing's for sure, Ben. Sam Katakazinos is going to sleep well tonight. He'll be very, very happy.
He'll be sleeping. He's going to be unhappy about his pedals, though. I've heard about that. So he's got something to whinge about, so he'll be happy.
Fantastic.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, Ben. 10th place tonight, so you're getting yourself some of the SNL points. Looking forward to New Hampshire next week, mate.
No.
Alrighty.
Terrible there, too.
All right, awesome. We look forward to seeing you crash out there as well, then.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
All right, catch you later,
Ben.
Ben. Oh, Tim. Ben
What a
Snell,
superstar.
always a character. Excellent for
Great
interviews.
Great value. Wonderful guy.
A bit of a
And
hard race here tonight.
Truthfully, mate, that comes with being a South Australian.
Of course it does. Absolutely 100%. All
Or
right.
something like that.
So the next person we have on our list of people to badger until they bend to our will is going to be our 16th place driver here tonight. We're going to be talking to the one and only earthy racer, Paul Beatty, who needs to turn off the audio of everything else. We can hear you and ourselves.
Because I haven't got my headphones in. So, can we make do or?
We can make do. We just have to put up with an annoying echo.
We better make it quick, though.
All right. Well, it was a bloody average race anyway, so I ain't got much to say.
Well, let's talk about your bloody average race then. What happened?
Well, after the first hairpin, that left-hand turn, I've forgotten what it's called, but where you got a real nice, generous off-track. If someone has a go on that turn on that one, then I know it's going to be an ordinary race, and that happened. And then there's a bit of a spin at the top, and then a couple of people dropping off here and there. I'm thinking this is cool. And then Mr. Snell has a bit of a wobble, nearly squeaked through, but didn't make it. So it was just lapping around by myself most of the time, really, with one other guy. But there you go. It's nice to be in the top split, eh?
I guess it is nice to be in the top split, isn't it? But Paul, hopefully next week we'll see you at New Hampshire getting the whole swag of points, and
well, hopefully it's not a popular track either, because that's the only way I can squeak into these things, which is nice.
Just make sure you show up for the soft, mate. If it's anything like this week, the prior race will be 300 or 400 higher.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, well, I didn't make the first split in the previous race, so I was nice surprise to get in. So, yeah, it was all right. I'm looking forward to watching the race anyway.
Like we are the Formula One, mate, so I reckon on that note...
Oh, yeah, better go, eh? Good. Well, thanks for the broadcast, chaps. Thanks for covering for Alex.
All right, and just before we go, Paul, you do sometimes stream on Twitch as well. What is your channel, very quickly?
Oh, it's Earthy Racer, but I'm still waiting. I'm the last suburb in Sydney not to have NBN, so streaming's a bit of an issue. I'll wait till that's in. I can't talk and race at the same time. I can barely race anyway.
All right, well, thank you very much, Paul. Hopefully better result next week, mate.
Oh, yeah, never know. All right, cheers, guys.
All righty, Tim. So that was Paul Beatty there. Not the best result for him tonight, but hopefully he'll be able to improve on that next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Also a little bit awkward having or hearing my voice in the background. But anyway, that's a different story. I'm sure he'll get his issues sorted for next time. But yeah, next week, Corey, New Hampshire, pretty exciting track. I really like it. So if Alex is back in town and you're about, or AJ is about, or maybe even the Golden Stig, Tim A.U. Weimer is about, perhaps I can get back on track and get some points for a change.
Well, hopefully so, mate. As we having a look at the socials up on the screen now, don't forget you can watch the replay of this race and all the previous races at the Top Split on YouTube. Don't forget we conduct all the interviews here in the Discord channel. That's also up on the screen. Check out also the Top Split podcast available over at thetopsplit.com, and also make sure you check out the recent visual episode of the podcast over at the Top Split YouTube channel, and make sure you join us on Facebook as well, facebook.com/the Top Split, and we do all the broadcasts for the SNL, and Alex does some racing stuff here and there right here on this Twitch channel. You can also follow AJ, the good doctor, at twitch.tv/AJ77, and you can also join myself at twitch.tv/Corey Has No Life 13. We'll put up a explicit warning for that one. I do use some fairly colourful language, but if you'd like to see me doing some more broadcast stuff, go and check out twitch.tv/Aussie_sim_commentator, where I commentate on oval racing, which is boring for some but entertaining for others. And yeah, I think that's about it here at the moment. Tim, do you have anything last that you'd like to add?
No.
Alrighty.
No, I do not.
On that very conducive no there, thank you guys for coming out. It's been an absolutely awesome broadcast. Thank you to Alex for giving us the keys to the castle once more. and letting us run wild on his channel. It's been a lot of fun.
It always is. Corey, thank you very much, and I look forward to catching you at some point next week.
Indeed, we shall. All right, guys. Until next week at New Hampshire, Timmy G and myself are here to tell you guys ciao for now.